Alright.
Alright, this is going to require a lot of freeze spray. I don't know if it sees on camera, but these things are real dirty and gray.
And matted down.
So what I'm going to do is the real bad parts. I've got a good solution mix in my tank right now here. So I'm going to get the really dirty areas sprayed up with my heavy solution. And then when I get done getting the dirty areas sprayed up, I can add more water to this if I need to, and do the areas that aren't as dirty with less solution and more water.
Yeah, he's gonna, if he adds water, he's gonna dilute it more. So he's gonna use the full strength.
Now, I don't care if I dilute it a little bit on the cleaner parts of the carpet, but on the dirty parts of the carpet, I want a good heavy solution. This needs it.
Yeah, this apartment was, for the 3 years that the people lived here, they never vacuumed. They never had their carpets cleaned. So if you want to see the pre-vac video, we've got a video showing the pre-vacuum of it while he's doing that. Well, you could just see by the debris that's on the floors over here, that's what was on the carpets basically. So it was pretty messy, and it hadn't been vacuumed in 3 years, so there's a lot of deeply embedded dirt. And that will not come out with a pre-vac most of the time unless you spend hours and hours and hours, which we don't have time to do. So you may see a lot of junk coming up with the bonnet cleaning. So we'll probably end up having to post-vacuum these carpets to try to pick up more of the debris.
Oh yeah, there's a good likelihood of that.
Yeah. And we also have the option of going over with an extractor if we wanted to as well to try to suck out more dirt.
We're going to bonnet clean it real thoroughly though.
We're trying not to get the carpet soaking wet, because if you use an extractor, you can get the carpets wetter, which is fine on most carpets. But these carpets, I'm sure that the floor underneath the carpet pad is filthy, because I'm sure they didn't clean it when they changed the carpets out the last time.
Oh, this one.
So we'll bring up a ton of subsurface dirt.
There was like a queen size bed sitting here, and you can see around it. So this is the main focal point of the freeze spray.
Yeah. Now, when you have an area like this, and you have people who have lived here for 3 years and never vacuumed, you're never going to probably get all the wear out of the carpet. So you're going to be able to see a transition zone from where their bed was at. It's not going to go away.
You can see from right here over here where their feet went every day.
Yeah.
And apparently they have some nasty, filthy feet.
Well, you can see a perfect outline of the bed, and you can see when nobody vacuumed for 3 years and they didn't keep the carpets cleaned and they were messy. You can see that the carpets are they're not going to ever come back to looking all the same.
No.
As a carpet cleaner, you can only do so much with things like this.
We'll make it look as good as we can, and it'll look pretty good, but it's not going to be brand new. That's not going to happen. No,
there's a lot of wear and tear in these carpets. There's cigarette burns. There's some cigarette burns over here. There's that's a big cigarette burn. So you're going to try to just get the carpets cleaned up and fluffy again, but they're not going to look brand new.
You're just saving them. Trying to save the carpets because they can rid them out again.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
We get a lot of comments from people basically like, why don't they put new carpets in? That's nasty and all this stuff. It's just like you.
Why would they?
When you're spending $1,300 or more to get new carpets put in, you can't afford to replace them if you can have them cleaned. And a lot of people think if a tenant moves in and moves out after 2 or 3 months, you should put new carpets in for the tenants come after that, and that's just not possible to do that.
So I'm going to re-blend my pre-spray.
We're not going to show all that.
No.
But stay tuned, we're going to start bonnet cleaning. Alright, we're getting ready to bonnet clean these carpets with the Oreck Orbiter. And my brother is presently spraying the bonnet down. He's getting it saturated real good, and he's lightly wringing it out.
Just a bit.
Because we're going to use a wet bonnet for this cleaning. You can use damp bonnets on some jobs if it's light soiling, but the worse the stains are, the more you probably want to get your bonnet pretty wet.
The wetter the bonnet, the better it works. That's how bonnet cleaning really works good. Wet. Alright, here we go. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but this one is real bad. But it's coming out. Look at that. Can you see?
Now there's cigarette burns and stuff in this carpet it's not gonna do anything for those. But
Of course, we don't care about stuff like that.
no.
That's not cleaning, that's where they need to put a patch in if they want to, which we don't pull around and patch the carpets. Other people do, but not us. We strictly clean and that's it. And we'll do floods too. Minor floods, not big ones. If you gotta rip the walls down and the sheetrock out and all that stuff, we ain't interested. That's too much work. And there's really not enough money in it to make us interested.
Yeah, I talked about these carpets hadn't been vacuumed in 3 years and they're pretty dirty, and you can see that the bonnet is bringing stuff up. Every once in a while you see little things come flying up and get thrown around, and that's just because when people don't vacuum for 3 years and they get their carpets as dirty as these were, you're not going to get it clean in one session. Not really. So we'll have to come up here and do a post vacuum when the carpets are dry.
If you can see it with the camera, the stuff's it's just jumping off the carpet right into the bonnet. It's coming right out, the darkness. Most of this is grease from like people's shoes when they've been stepping around in the parking lot. And if you use a good degreaser, it just lifts it right on off. Which that's what we do. We paint with a degreaser. There's many methods, that's ours.
All right, now at some point he can flip the bonnet over
I will when it needs it.
if he feels like it's no longer absorbing. You can still scrub with a full bonnet, but you just can't absorb. So he's wanting to absorb too. So, and you can wash it out if you feel like it's just completely saturated with dirt.
Yeah, if you're not planning to run an extractor after you do this, you've got to absorb.
So again, just to make a simple explanation, when you put down your pre-spray, that helps to break the chemical bond of whatever the stain is to the carpet fibers, and when that's loosened, it's in suspension. And so then if you come along with a bonnet or a carpet extractor or whatever, you're able to basically absorb all of that stuff into a bonnet or a machine.
All the suspended soil.
Yeah, if you don't have your soils in suspension, you may scrub it, but you're still not going to break it all loose. So it's really good to use a pre-spray. And if you do use a good pre-spray, then you can go ahead and absorb it with a bonnet. It's pretty easy to do. Now, if you use a carpet extractor, you'll notice a lot of dark, dirty water. But you got to remember that's because of the large volume of water being used compared to the bonnet method. So you're going to see it doesn't take very much dirt to turn water almost black. So you're picking up a lot with the bonnet too. It just doesn't seem like it'd be as much. When you wash it out, you see dirt going down the drain. But what it really is you don't have the volume of water. You didn't have the volume of water that you had with an extractor, so it doesn't impress as much as dumping a big extractor tank down the toilet.
Since this one's real dirty, I'm going to wash the bonnet out more than usual. You can wash the bonnet. There will be dirt coming out, and all I've done is a small area. There it starts. Can you see it on camera?
And even though he's got it in there with the bonnet, it's been broken loose in the bonnet, so it runs down the drain.
Because I'm going to run it down the drain.
Now you can't get 100% of it back out of the bonnet until you do a real thorough clean, but you don't really need to do that during the job. You
can get it out of it. I just get it out till it looks basically clear in the sink, and then throw the bonnet back on the ground and get back to it.
So this is why you don't necessarily have to have more than one bonnet if you don't mind stopping to clean.
If you don't mind rinsing them out, you don't have to have but one bonnet. In a big building where there's limited water supply, you want a whole bunch of bonnets, but in an apartment, you're never 20 feet from the sink, so this
now, one other thing, a lot of people have asked us about using the pads instead of the bonnets, which are pads like a floor pad, to scrub the carpets, and you can do that and they work fine, but you're not going to absorb anything. It's going to leave it all down on the carpet. So if you're going to go over it with an extractor,
then you got to go over with a bonnet or something anyway.
Turn that light out so don't mess with the video. But if you're going to go over it with some other method, or if you're going to come back with a bonnet, that's fine to use a pad to scrub with. And one of the advantages of using a pad or a carpet brush on the Oreck to scrub with is you let your pre-spray stay in the carpet, which gives it more of a chance to work. All right. Now getting the bonnet wetter helps it to scrub a little bit better, but it's going to start absorbing almost immediately too.
What happens when you get the bonnet wet is it's like getting a shirt wet. When you get a t-shirt wet because you jumped in the river, when your shirt stretches up, you know what I mean? So when you get a bonnet wet, what you're doing is it stretches it wide open and it opens up all the pores on it, the absorption pores that are naturally made in it. It opens all those absorption pores up. It makes it so it easily absorb dirt because it's got places for the dirt to go. The wetter the bonnet, the better it works. First off, it makes it glide quicker. The second off, it sets it up for better absorption. Now, there's people who will debate that, but I mean, I'm right, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you can see the results.
Yeah, the results speak for itself. No one puts up bonnet cleaning videos like we've shown hundreds of them, showing that our method is right. If people want to debate, okay, watch our videos and see what you can say. But we're doing it right.
Now some of that's furniture dents and everything. They must have had a coffee table or some small table there.
We're going to take those out with a steamer.
Yeah, we're going to do that separately.
Yeah, another thing. We're not even going to call it video. We've done tons of videos taking off this. So, now here's a real bad area. It's matted and everything.
This is the traffic area where people put their feet, sit on the couch. And the problem you got there is not just that it's dirtier than the rest of the carpet, but it's been matted down because of all the wear.
It's worn.
Yeah, so worn carpet, if you have brand new looking carpet and worn carpet, you can't make them look identical because of the destruction to the carpet fibers. So you're going to be left with what's called a gray area, and that's basically just worn out fibers. There's not a lot you can do with that. There's some products like Blend and Mend and things like that people use that add a waxy substance to the carpets to try to help bring the fibers back together, but that wears off. So it's just a very temporary stopgap measure.
But you see, I've already done a lot of fixing up the area, just with what I'm doing here. I'm going to take the whole stain out in this area right now. And people ask us, I'm going to say this because some people, this is the first video of ours you've ever seen. Some people ask us, should I get a machine like that or get one of the bigger ones? Well, what do you think? We're taking the stuff out, and these machines are like $400. We have a link in the video description where you can buy them from us. And the other machine, they cost a lot more money, and they're going to do the same thing we're doing. So you decide what you think you should do as far as should you buy one of these or one of the bigger ones. The bigger ones are nice, but...
Did you take a piece off your towel or something and throw it on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
What's that over by the outlet? Is that a part of the bonnet coming apart?
That?
Behind
tape.
you?
Oh, no, that's tape.
Okay.
It's Scotch tape. But no, we recommend these because the bigger ones are nice, but man, they cost so much money.
And if you, so this is an upstairs apartment, and if you have to haul a standard 175 upstairs a few times,
or a big orbiter either,
you're going to get to where you really don't want to do it.
No.
These machines are lightweight, and because it's an orbital motion, they're far more aggressive than a standard buffer would be in the same size. You have to you always have to consider the orbital motion because it makes it scrub a little bit differently than a regular 175 would scrub.
Oh,
and they work good too.
We've used this thing for we put a black pad on and we stripped wax. We spray buffed wax. It does everything. It does everything that a big machine does, but it don't weigh a whole lot of weight, so you can easily get it around. And I mean, you can move it all over the place quite easily, so it's maneuverable.
Now, at the time of this video, which of course was made probably at least a month before you see it,
Let me flip the bonnet.
at the time of this video, you could buy these off Amazon. They were selling for like $289, and they were $360 forever and ever, and now they're $289, and they've been that way for a few months. But the price does fluctuate.
It varies.
But it's still cheaper than you're going to find a standard buffer unless you buy a real cheap Chinese-made buffer, and you don't really want to put your money into those. These are good machines, and they'll last. If you use them constantly, you may get 2 years out of one. You may get more. Just depends, but they are going to wear out.
There's people who get 4, 5, 6 years. There's people who get a year. It just depends on how unlucky you get. If you plug into a bad electrical,
Yeah, you can burn the motor out.
You can have anything happen. But yeah,
Our first one we had, it accidentally got knocked down the stairs.
Yeah.
And although you couldn't really tell anything was wrong with it first. When you turn it on, it started shooting smoke out the top of it.
He had something wrong.
And it almost caught on fire. So we decided to hang on to it in case we ever get a chance to take it to a repair facility or something. But they're really inexpensive enough. You can use them for.
You just bought new ones.
Yeah, we used it for 2.5 years. So at a certain point, just throw it away and get a new one.
If you can buy one of these for $400 and you can make $70,000, $80,000, why? Just buy another one every so often. I mean, it's not difficult.
Yeah, treat yourself to something new once in a while.
Sure.
Now the bonnets last a long time.
Oh yeah.
But we have ruined bonnets before. We had one that blew apart on us one time because we'd used it for about 100 apartments. And they finally will fall apart.
Eventually.
And then we had one ruined because we cleaned the carpet for a guy that was he was a scrounger, and he was always taking wires apart in his house to sell the copper. And his carpet was completely full of copper strands. And by the time we got done doing his apartment, the bonnet was ruined. It was completely full of copper strands, and you couldn't even touch it without poking holes in your hand and everything, and it wasn't worth trying to fix it.
No.
But generally, if you're careful with them, you can make them last a long time.
They last about 80 to 100 apartments, something like that. They last a long time. And we get the ones we order. We don't get expensive cotton ones. People say you need them, but you don't. You can get these and do everything you can do with any other bonnet.
Yeah, and the Oreck bonnets work pretty good, and you can get more aggressive bonnets with the green scrubber stripes and stuff on them, but you also got to remember, with these little machines, if you put too much of a pad on there that scrubs real hard, you're putting a lot more wear on your motor.
Well, I've heard both sides of it. I heard someone else say that if the harder you make it work, the better it is on the longevity of the brushes in the motor too. So, you get anything you want, but this is how we do it, and we use the cheapest bonnets. And we're not saying the machines were out in 2 years. We don't know. They may wear out in a year. They may wear out, in 2, 5, 6, 7 years.
Well, you see how dirty they get. You'll clean them at first, and eventually you'll decide, forget it.
Well, there's nothing to clean.
Because they just get dirty during use. There's a lot of carbon dust that comes off the motors, and I mean, you can keep them clean if you want to, or you can let them get dirty. It doesn't really seem to affect the lifespan of them if you let them get dirty.
There's not even a cleaning guide with it. There's really no cleaning involved with them. Or it don't send you a thing about what to clean and what not to clean. They're basically maintenance free.
See, I thought he had another bonnet.
I do.
Where'd you put it?
It's in that bag.
Oh. No, that's just a little dirt on it.
That's what they look like when they're brand
Yeah, that's what they look like when they're new, and they will never look like that after the first job, so you'll never get them perfectly white. Don't bleach them. And don't worry about them being perfectly white. They're
No, don't do that.
They're going to get. But if you buy 2 or 3 bonnets for one of these machines, you should be able to go for a couple of years easily.
Oh yeah, your whole 2 or 3 bonnets, you got.
We have like 10 bonnets because we didn't know how long they'd last, and we use them as. These are great when you put them on your kitchen countertop when you take a hot pan out of the oven. You can set it on this. You can give them to your cat to lay on. There are all sorts of other things. You can play with them like a frisbee.
3 bonnets. You got enough bonnets to last you till you make about $65,000, $70,000 in your business. That's the truth.
Why not say $150,000?
Well, no.
You can make $1 million.
You can make, pretty close to $70,000, $80,000 before you wear out 3 bonnets.
They're very.
Unless you're doing these things for nothing.
They're very inexpensive when you look at the total amount of money that they'll make.
Yeah, they make you a fortune.
Anytime you can buy something for $20 like a bonnet, and it can make you several $100s, that's a good investment for your money.
Or $50 or $60 or $70,000.
However much. I mean, even if you can only make $100 before it wears out, it'd still be a profit. So.
These do better than that. All right.
All right. The carpets look a lot better.
They're not. I mean, this is what do you call it? It's a wear area.
There's a wear area, and it's a little damper because he put more pre-spray there. So it's gonna have a different look to it. The whole carpet is not going to be uniform.
But
when it completely dries, it's going to look even.
We're not trying to make it perfect. We're just trying to get it nice, and it is nice.
When it's completely dry, it'll look more even.
We're going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to pre-spray the next room, and then we're going to show the bonnet cleaning of it, and it's nasty too. You can go show that real quick, but I'm going to come in there and pre-spray.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's nasty.
I'm going to stop the camera here because there's no point showing him pre-spraying it. It'll be about 5 minutes of junk before we start working again, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right. You can see there's a pretty good dark tinge to this carpet. Once again, the people that lived there 3 years, never vacuumed, never had their carpets cleaned, so.
Never cared.
Well, it's just, not everybody cares about living in cleanliness, so.
No, some people like to be filthy. It suits their temperament, I guess, or whatever.
So, and again, we did a really thorough pre-vacuum on this carpet, and there's a video for that. You might look in the back history, and you can see how much junk we pulled out. I'll show you just a shot there. You can see in the bathroom on the floor. That's what all the carpets look like too. So it was a pretty nasty job.
Now this is going to take some extra work. I'm going to do what I can to blend this dark area and this light area together, and it won't blend perfectly. But I've blended quite a few of them pretty good in the past. They're pretty. I've actually blended them completely before. It's hard to do, and sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. But I'm going to try to blend this one because it's real bad.
I was standing in the cleanest corner of the room.
And it's dirty.
Yeah. Now these carpets were so neglected that I guarantee you there's things that aren't going to come out. Like that cigarette burn he just went over. That is never coming out. But there's going to be some other things in here. There's abrasion to the carpet, so some of the areas that are dirty, although we may get the dirt out, we're not going to fix the damage to the carpet, and it's not going to show, it's not going to look the same as the rest of the carpet, so it's going to look like a bad spot. And that usually shows up to the naked eye into video. It shows up as a dark spot. But there's only so much you can do with that. You're not a miracle worker. Be careful here. And I'm trying to find an angle where you can see the stains the best. But he's casting a shadow.
You might want to go stand over there.
Yeah.
Or over there.
I'll move around a little bit, but you can't see from every angle.
I'm not real good at making videos or pictures, but one thing I know is if you want to do a good job, try to always keep the object you're filming between the camera and the window as much as possible. And that usually makes a difference on how well the video can show up.
Well,
as much as you can.
We have a little viewfinder on this camera, and I can kind of see roughly what we're getting, but it's not 100% perfect. But I can see an outline of a bed. And I'm glad there's not an outline of a body.
Now, we may not be able to get that outline out, but we're going to try. We've actually got a lot of these outlines out before.
You can get the dirt out. The problem is the abrasion to the carpet. A lot of times you can't fix that. In fact, generally 100% of the time you're not going to fix abrasion. This machine will fluff the carpets up pretty good, and they'll look really, really good when they're all fluffed up, but once people walk on them and start matting it down a little bit, you'll be able to see those worn out areas a little bit better.
Orbital cleaning machines like this, they have a way of standing up abrasion. You may not fix it, but you can sure make it look better.
You know, if you turn the machine, so you're walking that way.
Yeah, but see, I'm needing to push this direction because the
Okay.
way the car, I'm working uphill. If I turn the other way, I'm working downhill, and I don't get as much aggression on the.
But it's not about you, it's about the video.
Yeah.
No one cares about your comfort.
Well, it cleans the carpets better if you're pushing like uphill or whatever against the grain. Okay, this is dirty, so keep an eye on this one I'm coming into. And when a room's dirty like this, what I'll do is I'll go over it a couple of times, not just once. I'll rinse the bonnet out and go over it again and give it every chance to
And you can flip the bonnet if you need to.
I will. Here in a sec.
Now we've got one more room that we have to clean.
We're not going to do no video.
We're not going to video, yeah.
It's basically like nobody lived in the room or something. Somehow it escaped all this damage. It'll make a boring video. We're not going to put it up.
Let me see if I can. It's hard to see in here with the light.
Turn the light on and see what happens.
No, that always makes it worse.
Oh no. They take out the shadow.
No, it brightens everything up too much and you can't see it. You lose the contrast that you need. Yeah, let's do the best we can. You can still see a transition zone between where the bed was at.
Well, I'm not done with that. You probably will when I'm done, but
Yeah, you almost never get that 100%.
I've got them out a lot of times where you can't tell. And I've got them out where they're real dark too. If you put in enough time and effort, a lot of times you can do amazing things with these machines.
You know, if we buy one of those $3,000 or $4,000
The big machines,
big machines, we'd probably be done already.
I doubt it.
But of course, you know, for that much money, you better be done.
Let me flip the bottom. Well, they don't do anything but what this does. They're just bigger.
Well, the toilet just gave way on itself. So.
Oh, well, if that's not mine,
All right, let me
I'm just flipping it.
see. There is some debris that's being popped up here and there.
There always is.
After 3 years of not vacuuming, there's more in the carpet than we can get out in one session of vacuuming, but it's not as bad as I was thinking it might be. The black things you see are cigarette burns. If you ever have an opportunity to get into a business or renting out properties for people to live in, it's good for you to watch these videos so you have a good idea how people are going to respect your property, because they're not.
Don't do it that you're
Don't put nice carpets
and
in.
that you're putting the high-end people that are making over $100,000 a year.
Make sure you get a good deposit, and make sure you really inspect closely before you give them any deposit money back, because people will destroy your house. They'll destroy your carpets, and carpets aren't cheap. One of the things you might want to do if you do decide to get into the landlord business, which I don't want anything to do with because I used to do that, but if you ever do, learn how to clean your carpets yourself. Because as we've shown, it's not all that difficult to do, and you'll save a whole lot of money over hiring it out. It does take some time, but it saves you quite a bit. A machine like this is a good investment because you may have to clean your properties every few months. And it's a lot cheaper than paying professionals to clean and having to put new carpets in. So it's a good investment.
Out, and I'll do one more batch of trying to blend this in. And I may be done, but
As far as I can see with the camera, at least, it looks like it's pretty good.
It's a lot
It looks
better
good to
than
the naked eye, and it looks good to the camera.
yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better.
But with the lighting that we have, it's a hazy thunderstorm coming kind of a day. So it makes the lighting kind of weird to work with. It's not good to clean carpets at night either, because if you're in a dark area and all you have is like a 40-watt bulb from the ceiling to work with, you're going to probably leave a lot of stuff behind because you just can't see what you're doing. You want to have good lighting when you clean if it's possible.
If you're doing a janitorial business and you get to clean at night, just turn on a lot of lights in the building.
Yeah.
And you'll be all right.
So this looks a lot better. I'll show you while he's washing that out. The hallway still needs to be done, of course. This room back here isn't too bad. It's not going to be worth making a video of. But this job has been one of our longer jobs because the carpet's so dirty, and when we video everything, it really slows us down. So.
Well, there's two kinds of dirt: the kind that comes out easy and the kind that don't.
Yep.
Now that sounds funny, but it's true. There's some so embedded in the carpet, you just have to work and work and work to get the carpet fiber stripped clean.
This is one of those jobs that just takes a little longer than most of the jobs do, and it's just because the type of dirt that's in the carpet has to be scrubbed more. And on some carpets, the carpets look dirty, but it comes right out. These carpets are not as cooperative, and they're pretty worn out. They were so matted down and abused, neglected. So.
But if you take your time and don't get in a rush to go eat a pizza, you can generally get a pretty good job done on carpets if you just will. The reason we're good is because we don't fool around and quit because we're in a hurry to leave. Yeah. If you're not into doing this stuff right, don't get into this business. You know?
Well,
if you do, you won't have any
customers. The people they were using before us, they had 3 other services they used before we came along. They all did the same thing. They'd clean an apartment like this, they'd be up here for 10 to 15 minutes, It took them longer to string their hoses up the stairs than it did to actually clean. And guess what? They didn't get any of the stuff out that we're getting out today.
And guess what? We're here and they're not.
They got replaced as soon as somebody came along to get out and clean them, and it wasn't very hard either.
No. We didn't even work hard to take the business. We just did one apartment and got a stain out that 3 services couldn't get out. 2 services.
But if you want to move,
That was how we got this complex.
if you want to get this apartment cleaned in 15 or 20 minutes, you can do it. You can skip your pre-vacuuming. You can just run over with a wand real quick, and you can get out and get on to the next one. You made a lot of money that day.
I hope you're one of those kind of guys, because if I find out where you're at and you're in my area, I'll come and take your business from you.
Well, that's the problem. You're going to lose your repeat business.
You bet.
It's hard enough to get customers initially, but if you don't hang on to them and you can't keep them, then you got to keep going through all the work of generating new customers all the time, and that's terrible. And referrals are a lot better, and repeat customers are a lot better because they already like you.
If you're the kind of guy
They already know what you do.
That's carpet cleaning, you don't vacuum, I want to know where you live, because I want to come to town and take all your business. I'll rip every one of your customers from you. That's the goal.
Well, if you leave something on the table, someone else is going to grab it. That's just the way it is. So.
And I'm hungry. If I make $1 million, I want to make $1.5 million. There's not enough money in my pocket to make me satisfied. I'll take your business if you give me an opportunity. So you best do good work.
Yeah, just take your time, and if it takes longer than you hoped it would to get a job done, do it right. That way the customer's happy. And don't just try to make your quick money, because making quick money is not going to help you in the future. It's only going to help you today. And you'll spend that money fast. Next thing you know, you'll need more work, and you're not going to get anybody calling you back because you did a shabby job. So.
And remember, there's guys like us all over the country. You're not safe.
Nope, we're on YouTube, so you can see us, but there's hundreds and hundreds of people like us, and they don't put videos up, so you don't know they exist.
If you do bad work, you're not safe. You will lose your business to somebody like us.
Well, I'd love to say it's over, but it's not over because we got to do the hallway and the other
Well,
building.
we can.
But I'm not going to video any more of
We
it.
don't need to video that because it's not dirty. But they've seen the dirty carpets get cleaned. And now, when it comes to this here blending in, you can come in here with that camera. I'm not sure how blended it is, but I know it's way better than it was.
It's hard to tell with the lighting and everything.
But it's
The carpet's more fluffy where he worked it
This
more.
is where the blend, where the separation was, and it's not perfect. It's not going to
If
be.
you want to make it look better, just go over that whole area real quick.
No, because I done went over it. It's going to do what it's done.
When we have a chance, we're going to post vacuum. We got to take some furniture dents out at a separate time. We're going to post vacuum and rake and all that, and we'll be able to tell the final results how it came out. You can't always tell while you're at the job. You got to give it some time to set up. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description for the Oreck and the Bonnet, so you can go get more information on that. And
there you go.
that's pretty much all there is to it. It's not hard. It can take a little time once in a while, but it's not hard at all. Get a decent quality vacuum. It doesn't have to be the world's best, but just get a vacuum that actually picks stuff up. Vacuum your carpets really thoroughly. That's the most important thing. And then go to town with an Oreck Orbiter, and you can clean almost anything.
Well, nice to do the video for you. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.